used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own. I hear Jerusalem bells ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword, my shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. For some reason I can't explain, once you go there was never an honest word. That was when I ruled the world. Hey, how you doing? Justin here with another Coldplay classic for you. I just can't believe that this one's nearly 10 years old. Can't say that I'm not keeping up with the current trends now, can you? It's a really cool tune, hey? Very, very popular one by all accounts. And there's a couple of cool little quirks that I think are quite fun. The first thing is we're not doing it exactly the same as the original recording, right? I'm going to show you kind of how we can copy the strings and the synth parts on the guitar a little bit, and then we're going to be strumming it for the chorus because it needs some kind of lift. If you kept doing the little riffy thing, it would just make the song a bit flat and a bit boring for the listeners. Okay, so let's start real super simple. If you're going to play along with the original recording, which I would strongly recommend that you do, you want your capo on at the first fret, okay? The chords are really, really simple. We have C, D, G, and E minor for pretty much the whole song. Okay, it's that same sequence, C, D, G, E minor, C, D, G, E minor. We can play them different ways, and I'd recommend that you learn it different ways, at least between the verses and the chorus. There's one exception of that, which is the bridge, which has this little section in the instrumental part, which goes C, E minor, C, E minor, C, E minor, D, D, okay? But otherwise, it's that same sequence all of the way through the tune. So first thing that I'd recommend, if you're a real beginner, you want to put the capo on, play along with the original recording with just one strum on each chord, because that way you're kind of getting the feeling of the rhythm. It's forcing you to work in time, getting your chord changes done in time as well. So literally just doing, I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I C to D, and then it's G and going to E minor. And it's the same thing again. Over and over the chords are the same, but the production is pretty cool. So you'll probably have a lot of fun playing along. Okay, that would be first step. Then if you're cool with that, then I'd go for just 4 down strums to the bar. So the ringing, Roman cavalry choirs are singing. Be my mirror, my sword, my shield, my missionaries in a foreign field. Now, I should mention as well, if you're going to sing this tune, the phrasing, like where the words come in relation to the rhythm of the song, is a little bit weird. There's quite a few bits where I've had to actually practice little lines like my missionaries in a foreign field. My mish is right on the beat. And you need to pay a little bit of attention to that, otherwise well, I found that my tongue kept on tripping over, so I really had to practice it. For those of you that haven't seen my How to Sing and Play at the Same Time video, you might want to go and check that out, because you're going to have to automate some of this, and you have to be able to do the guitar part and the singing part independently before you try and put it together. So one of the things for a tune like this, where the phrasing is a little bit odd, strumming just 4 down strums to the bar and being able to sing would definitely be recommended before you try doing the clever rhythm thing I'm going to show you, because that's quite a next level of difficulty, and it's something that I had to practice to be able to do it enough to teach you this tune. So as far as other strumming patterns go, you could really muck around and use whatever strumming patterns that you like. Old Faithful will work. You could really just whatever strumming patterns you like, experiment and see what works for you. I would recommend doing something different between the verses though and the chorus. So either keep it just real simple for the verses and then strumming more in the choruses, or changing the volume or something to differentiate it. Otherwise, it's just going to get a little bit dull. That's one of the gigs of production, the producer of the band and arranging the instruments on the original recording to give the highs and lows on the track, which now that I've mentioned it, if you go and listen to the track, you'll hear those dynamic shifts. And if you're playing by yourself, it's worth kind of paying attention to that a little bit. So now I'm going to show you how to emulate the little synthesizer riff or the string line. This. Now we're going to start just doing the C to the D, but it's not really a D, it's kind of a D7 sus4, I guess. It's easy, which is good. If we start with the C, we're going to be playing the bass note of the C chord with our thumb, that's the 5th string. First and second fingers are going to be playing strings 2 and 3. Okay, so first finger will play the open G string, second finger will play the 2nd string. Okay, we're going to play it with this rhythm. The first bar is 1, 2, 3, 4, and. And on the and after 4, we're going to lift the other fingers off except for the first finger. First finger is going to stay there. Thumb is going to move down and play the 4th string. First and second fingers will play the same string. So we've actually got open 4th string, open 3rd string, and first finger in the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Just those notes. That's all we're playing. So C. Now I'm going to still call it D, okay? It should really be D7 sus4, I guess. Okay, but let's talk about the rhythm now of that second bar. So we got this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. So it's coming back onto the beat on 3 and 4, but you've got that little succession of offbeats on the and after 4, the and after 1, and the and after 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. You definitely want to practice that up and get it kind of as automated as you can before you start mucking around with changing the chords or anything else. Once you feel confident with that, then you move to the G to the E minor. Okay, for the G, you're just moving the 3rd finger over to the 3rd fret of the thicker string, or 3 frets above the capo, and then open 2nd and 3rd strings. Now E minor, technically you don't really have to have any fingers on, right? Because we're playing the open thicker string and the 2nd and 3rd strings. Still, the 1st and 2nd fingers are playing those ones. I would recommend that you put the E minor chord down anyway. Okay, just because if you accidentally hit some of those strings, it's going to sound a little bit bad. So you're better off holding the chord down, even if you're not playing the notes in that chord. It's a good idea to hold it down anyway, right? So once you've got that together, you've got the C, B, G, E minor, C, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. It's a very, very cool little riff if you play it like that, and it sounds a lot more like the tune straight away when you're playing this kind of D chord that way rather than playing a regular standard D. Still works, you could use a regular D. But one thing, if you're going to do that one, it really wants to pick up in the chorus, okay? Because if you try and keep that rhythm through the chorus as well, it just gets a bit monotonous. So when I get to the chorus, I was doing the kind of thing like... So here I'm doing thumb, up, down, up. And up, down, up with my first finger. Thumb, up, down, up, thumb, up, down, up, thumb, up, down, up. Thumb is playing the bass note of the chord. Thumb, up, down, up. Up, down, up with the first finger, yeah? Obviously you're going to be wanting to put the whole chords down for this. And again, probably for the choruses, playing a regular D is nicer than doing the other fancy D because it makes it a bit different. Now if you wanted to, you could try and get getting a bit more fancy on it, you could try and get an accent going on beats 2 and 4, which is the accent in beats 2 and 4 is called the backbeat, which emulates the snare drum in the band. You don't have to, again, it's just like ideas. I mean, there's lots of different ways of playing it. You could, of course, stay with fingerstyle through the whole thing and just be doing cavalry choirs singing. You know, there's not really a limit to the different approaches you could, you know, explore with a tune like this. It's pretty open. The chords are really simple, which is nice that it gives you a lot of opportunities when the chords are simple to experiment with the different rhythms or even different chords for more advanced guitar players, like extensions of the chords and that kind of thing. For those of you who are aware of keys and stuff, we're in the key of G. So if you want to use any additional notes, you want to be using notes that are from the scale of G major, if you want to add that in. And if you're experimenting with improvising or learning to jam with your mates, then you would be looking to use the G major scale over this chord sequence. It would sound really cool. So that'd be a fun thing to be doing. If one person's playing those chords, the other person can have a bit of a mess around with the notes from the G major scale and see if they can find some riffs and stuff. So look, I hope you enjoy playing this tune. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you dig what I do. I really appreciate your support. And if you do subscribe, hit that little bell button next to the subscribe there, and you'll get notified of when I'm doing live streams and live transcribing sessions and all that sort of stuff. Do go and check out the website as well, especially if you're a beginner. There's hundreds of beginners lessons, and all the songs are all kind of categorized by level, so you can find exactly the right songs to fit your level of guitar playing. I think that's a pretty special new feature of the site, so you might want to go and check that out too. Have fun, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye bye.